Ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty interesting news. I would say it's huge considering the level of hysteria surrounding this story for the past couple of years. FEC drops case reviewing Trump hush money payment to women. Now, there was never any campaign finance violation. There was never any campaign finance violation for this. If that was a campaign finance violation, purchasing the Steele dossier was a campaign finance violation. That actually had something to do with the election, with setting up and framing President Trump before he was even inaugurated on January 20th of 2017. This did not affect, everybody knew President Trump, like Bill Clinton, had extramarital affairs. It did not affect even one vote. It would not have affected even one vote if people found out, he was having a relationship with Stormy while he was married. And then, of course, the same Democrats who say, you know what? It was just a you-know-what in the White House. No big deal. They say, oh, my God, Trump, at a certain point in his marriage, engaged in this type of behavior. These are the same people who spent 30 years defending Bill Clinton. Oh my goodness, I know. Can you believe what Trump was doing? Oh my goodness, he's such an immoral human being. These people engage in immorality, then make excuses. Trump was accused by more people than Biden was accused by. So therefore, by the Clintonian calculus, he's less moral. There's no moral compass. So everything is just throw as much mud, get as much people to focus and to obsess over Trump's indiscretions, while at the same time, you have a long list of, there's the New York Attorney General who was forced to resign. There's Al Franken who was forced to resign. There's Biden, who was accused by Tara Reid during the campaign that everyone ignored. There's, of course, Huma Abedin's husband. That we can go on. Bill Clinton. A certain Democratic donor that Bill Clinton was friends with that we don't have to go into. A lot closer friends than the 45th president. We'll leave it at that. Anyway, FEC drops case. This is after, by the way, this is after they had Trump's tax returns for 2 years. 3 months. They've had Trump's tax returns for 3 months. It's led to nothing. Zero. I thought it was the holy grail of Trump corruption. Where is this? See, Clinton had servers with top secret intel. That's a fact. She did use servers to hide communication for 4 years. Watergate was a break-in, then a cover-up. They didn't have anything on Trump. So Clinton, servers. President Obama knew, lied about those servers. Okay, well, you don't know if you have to just, trust him. You can't prove that he lied. Well, how many times have Democrats and media gone after Trump by saying, we know there's something there, and he's lying? You haven't seen you didn't see his taxes up until a couple of months ago, Democrats, and you still haven't found anything. So who's lying now? His taxes have led to nothing. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'm going to give you, this is going to abide by YouTube policies. You have Avenatti, who became, for 15 minutes, a household name. Michael Avenatti, who's now, I believe, in prison. I think he's in prison right now. For the whole thing with Nike. You have Stormy, who was part of this, and Michael Cohen, who was a part of this. By the way, hit subscribe to this channel, to my new Patreons. Thank you. If you want to read my writing on The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, The Daily Caller, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. But get this segment going. I'll leave you the link below. This is like 30 minutes ago. Breaking news. FEC drops case reviewing Trump hush money payments to women. Former FEC chairman also stated during that time that it wasn't a campaign finance violation. And Michael Cohen, he spilled the beans on Trump, but he flipped on Trump. But everything he said, his entire testimony was prior to the first impeachment. They did not impeach him on anything to do with Michael Cohen's testimony. They still haven't charged him or done anything pertaining to Michael Cohen's testimony. So you have the whole Stormy case with hush money. That wasn't against the law. That was a business transaction, okay? At least, like, if you want to talk about, that was a business transaction. You want to talk about the power dynamics and everything else, Bill Clinton and his intern fit that whole narrative or reality. But let's just read this. FEC drops case reviewing hush money payments to women. The case had examined whether Donald Trump violated election law with a $130,000 payment shortly before the 2016 election to Stormy by his personal lawyer, Michael Cohen. The Federal Election Commission said on Thursday that it had formally dropped a case looking into whether President Donald J. Trump violated election law with payments of $130,000 shortly before the 2016 election. The payment was never reported on Trump's campaign filings because it had nothing to do with the campaign. It had nothing to do with the campaign, nor would it have swung any votes. This was not, you're not talking about a person whose presidential image or campaign image was that he's pure as the driven snow. And by the way, for people who say it's immoral to vote for Trump, these people are oftentimes engaged in the most immoral acts or blind and accepting of the most immoral deeds. If you vote against Trump because you think that he's tarnishing democracy, these are broad allegations that you can't even really prove in a discussion or in a debate because they're absurd. But you are saying, I would rather not have Americans home from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, and I would rather have Biden keeping us there indefinitely. I would rather have Americans home and a scaled-back foreign policy than anything Biden has to offer. That's a moral imperative. That is the moral good thing to push for, to advocate. My voice, this channel, what I'm saying, defending President Trump oftentimes is the moral vantage point. The immoral vantage point is to retweet Bill Kristol, to retweet the Lincoln Project, to say, well, I'd rather have a good Republican who doesn't engage in this type of behavior. Yeah, the good Republican would push for the same wars and counterinsurgency conflicts that you claim to oppose, you hypocrites. So that's just one thing. Then they went after, like I said, Trump after 30 years of defending Bill Clinton. But anyway, the payment was never reported on Mr. Trump's campaign filings. Neither was the Steele dossier for the Clinton campaign filings. Okay? Neither was CrowdStrike for the DNC. But anyway, Mr. Cohen would go on to say that Mr. Trump had directed him to arrange payments, apologizing for his involvement. He was sentenced to prison for breaking. He wasn't sentenced to prison for breaking campaign finance laws. He pleaded guilty to those. He was sentenced for tax evasion and then lying to Congress. Regarding lying to Congress, I'm not even sure. That could have been a stretch also, but it was because of a failed taxi business. They added the campaign finance laws because the Southern District of New York is an extension of the Democratic Party. Must be nice. If there's anyone on the planet who thinks the Southern District of New York is only focused on truth and justice and not going after Trump or Democratic Party direct political rivals, well, that's an interesting viewpoint. The tinfoil hat theories are that media and Democrats and James Comey and the Southern and what's his name, Vance and the Southern District, these are all people trying to uphold democracy. Democracy is not defined by the apoplectic sentiments of angry and disgruntled liberal Democrats that are still going after Trump or trying to find out why he wasn't charged in 2019 with obstruction of an investigation that should never have happened in the beginning. But while the federal court involving Mr. Cohen is resolved, the FEC issued only an internal report from its Office of General Counsel on how to proceed in its review in December 2020. The office said it had, quote, found reason to believe violations of campaign finance. By the way, AOC has numerous allegations from former FEC chairman that she violated campaign finance laws or that her campaign did by funneling money from her campaign to corporations without telling anyone what the expenditures were about. But of course, then there's two standards of justice here, but the Election Commission split evenly between three Republicans and 3 Democrats-aligned commissioners, declined to proceed. They declined to proceed because it wasn't a campaign finance violation. It had nothing to do with the campaign. The primary issue was that if he was trying to gain votes by being this straight-laced, person who would never do such a thing, then that would be an issue. But that wasn't the case. To conclude that a payment made without as much as conducting an investigation. Oh, okay, so then they want to investigate. There's already an investigation. 2 of the Democratic chairs want an investigation. There's already an investigation. The Cohen case captured the public's attention in 2018. Yeah, because Democrats focused on it. Media obsessed over it. Hunter Biden's emails. No, you better believe that actual emails, like where are Trump's emails? Where are the Trump children's emails saying, how can you use your influence on behalf of the company? That's Hunter Biden's emails. You will never find DNC email, the equivalent of DNC emails showing that Bernie Sanders was cheated, or Hunter Biden's emails showing that he engaged very likely in pay-to-play schemes. You will never find that. What you will find is, look over there, hush money, Stormy. Don't talk about Biden saying, oh yeah, well, you know what, you're not going to get $1 billion in loan guarantees. Oh, and that was because, according to Democrats, their tinfoil hat theories with that, it was because he was forcing out somebody who was just not going after corruption. It wasn't an example of corruption, especially in light of the fact that the federal government's already investigating Hunter Biden, according to Politico, for some of the accusations that Trump and Giuliani have already leveled against him. But anyway, so the payment was far in excess of the legal limit for individual contributions. It had nothing to do with it had nothing to do with the campaign. This was a personal involvement that had absolutely nothing to do with the campaign. Because nobody would have cared. Mr. Cohen further said he had arranged for a $150,000 payment by an American media for former Playboy. Okay, so if this was all, the defense, according to one of the FEC chairmen, was that, look, if you can prove that he did it just because he didn't want his family or his wife to know, then that's not a campaign finance violation. Obviously, he did that, because he didn't want his family to know. Again, at least if you want to talk about morality or Bill Clinton, this was a business transaction. Call it what you want. If that type of business transaction you think is horrible, this was a business transaction. It's not advisable, but it's not what Bill Clinton did. And Bill Clinton lied under oath, committed perjury. They didn't even impeach Trump on any specific criminal statute the first time around. So give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I don't even think they did the second time. But every allegation they have against Trump is fruitless, leads to absolutely nothing. They say, well, he incited people. Well, where are the court cases? He's protected under the First Amendment. He actually said peaceful. It shouldn't have happened that day, I agree. But They found nothing in terms of Trump-Russia collusion. That never happened. They found nothing in terms of the hush money. They found nothing in terms of his taxes. They found nothing in terms of him inciting anyone in a court of law. They got people on allegedly lying to Peter Strzok, and we know from his text messages that he had utter disdain for Trump. We have Peter Strzok's text messages. We have the DNC emails. We have Hunter Biden's emails. We have the actual thought process of the people that go after Trump. Yet they're going after him for things that have absolutely nothing to do with the campaign he ran. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Thank you.